When did you start streaming?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. About 10 years ago, dude. YouTube, then Twitch, then D Live, then YouTube again, and now Kick. So I moved a lot of platforms. I'm kind of a nomad, dude. So yeah, about 10 years ago.
So were you doing the same content for that 10 years?
Nah, dude. Nope. I started off doing gaming shit, like how everyone else would probably fucking start. And it was really it was a learning experience because not many people know, or they don't really come in to watch video game play. So, back then it was all like, it was all a learning experience, right? So on the YouTube days and the Twitch days, I actually was clout chasing. I don't know if you know this guy named Goose Wayne. Do you know who that is?
But you can go more in depth so I can learn about it.
So you ever see this one guy on TikTok that he just like unmasks himself and he's bald, and people like react to him and shit? I think Kai Cenat reacted to his content in like recent times.
So is he a juggler?
Yeah. No. So
the chat is all saying juggler.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
He's funny as shit. Yeah. So he's a good guy. I'm still friends with him. I just talked to him like not too long ago about his success. He just reached like a million subs on YouTube. But what he does is like he just unmasks himself on fucking TikTok. And back then he was known for being Batman. Okay. So he was on Dr. Phil. His wife put him on Dr. Phil where
I watched this.
Yeah, him, that guy. So he was looking for his Joker, and then I became his Joker. Right, that's kind of the whole lore back then. And then he kind of got away from the Batman thing and started doing just like regular streaming, where I just continued doing the Joker stuff. So.
Okay, but you do the Joker stuff, right? When you first started doing it, did people clown you? And I only say this to you because I use an animated character, and the people in this chat, even right now, most of them say I'm either twin clips, I'm trans, I'm a transformer, I'm everything that you can think of. So I'm just curious, you in front of them with face paint on, what did they say to you?
Call me a virgin. They call me a virgin. They sell me in my mom's basement. They bully me. I'm cool with that. Hey chat, you can bully me. It's fine. Bully the fuck out of me. That's what I want. But I'm okay with people calling me a clown. That's cool. Because you know what's awesome about that? So like you call a person a clown until they're not a clown, right? A lot of people when they come into my channel, they expect to like, talk shit or whatever. But then when I hit them with like real shit, they're like, oh, wait a minute. I can vibe with this guy. And that's kind of what the Joker is, right? So, whenever people look at the Joker, they're like, oh, he's a psychotic clown, he's stupid, whatever. But then when you really like dive deep into the lore, you're like, okay, like this guy is like depicting like real fucking problems. It's what I do. So you can come on and talk all the shit you want. And as a matter of fact, I don't let my mods ban my trolls. I let my trolls just run rampant and talk shit to me however you want. Throw your fucking tomatoes. I don't care. But then when you hear about how, we're fucking suppressed under, wage slavery, where there's like a massive corporate monster that wants nothing but to fucking control you. When I start saying shit like that, now you're like, oh, okay, I vibe with this guy. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm the second verified channel on this platform. I've been here since like my channel was created on the birthday of Kick. Like when they said, hey, it's our birthday, that's when my channel was created. And I, in the beginning, it was like 20 channels maybe that were live. I was actually one of the biggest channels that were on the platform at the time because I used to do crypto content as well. So, yeah, I had like 60 to 100 people in my channel at that point. I'm like, okay, that's fucking cool. And the platform really liked me. Back then, everybody was like kumbaya type shit. And then after a while, it got kind of like greasy. People got in their personalities. People started fighting. And then people were like accusing everybody else of U-botting. And it was all like messy. But it's fine because I was like, all right, like back then, my content really wasn't like drama reporting. it was more like, all right, I'm just gonna be this guy that, you know, laughs in front of the camera and talks about real shit in the world, right? And then I would do like some comedy bits and stuff. But then like after a while, staff did some really weird things on this platform, and then I kind of called that out, like, you know, back then. The KCIP partners started like grouping up and doing like really dumb shit to suppress people. And then starting the beginning of 2024 is when I deployed my drama reporting, because they started like shadow banning and attacking creators who were not their preferred creators. So when I did that, I bloomed into what you see today. So, but that's kind of how the lore was with all of Kick. It's very, it's a very progressive kind of like platform. They're trying to like adapt into, you know, doing what makes sense. They've learned a lot of lessons. They fumbled a lot, but I fuck with Kick, man. You know, even though I had my like, you know, like kind of like my, you know, really hypercritical understanding of what Kick is, and my opinions were like pretty fucking like edgy, I fuck with them because like they're trying to do better. They're learning. So I'm like, okay, like as long as you do that, I can fuck with this place. Because when you start being complacent and you think you know everything and then you fuck people over, that's where I got a problem. But I fuck with them.
You made a tweet today talking about them losing their badges.
Well, yeah. So I'm still a reporting channel, right? So stuff like that, I want to make sure I highlight, right? So my Twitter, believe it or not, is highly referenced by the staff, right? Staff watch my Twitter. They're looking at it. They you know, it's kind of like a point of like, all right, what is this guy saying now? Because it kind of adjusts the climate of like a lot of the partners, because a lot of the KCIP partners and a lot of like the bigger streamers, they reference my shit. Like Sam Peppers talked about my stuff, FoozyTube. I mean, all of their big guys, right? And what happens is it sets a climate. So if I say something that's kind of like, oh, he noticed this, Kick is pretty good at like adjusting to fix it. So that's why I'm still kind of like being critical on them, but not for the purpose of breaking them down, for the purpose of saying, hey, there's a problem here, fix it. And then they do. So when I started saying like, hey, there's, you know, people aren't getting their check marks, what's going on? It's a prompt for them to say, oh shit, let's get our guys their fucking check marks, right? Now, something interesting, by the way, Clips, that I noticed, and you probably noticed this too. I didn't check this morning, but Aiden Ross, XQC, Nick Merckx, and a couple of others, I think Your Rage, did not get their check or their Kick badge yet. Now they may have now. I don't know if they haven't, but that to me is interesting that they haven't gotten, and they were on their Twitter.
I can answer all of it for you right now, because
Okay.
I was in Twitter, right? So the way it works in Twitter is if you want to grow an actual clip page, you need to join an organization, right? So the first organization I joined was Rainbet, and all the clippers were there, and they give you a badge, they give you a monthly salary, and then they also give you like a Discord server where you can post clips and you get paid per like how many views you get, right?
Okay.
These guys, 1 month, all of us lost our check marks, we all lost our badges, and we were like, what the fuck happened? And it's what you just posted today. Rainbet missed a payment, so they just booted us all out, right? That's one. And I want to give you another one. See, the thing is that there's two roads to everything. When Rainbet then tried to change their logo, Twitter gave us like a black box next to it, and then we just didn't have a badge for like a couple weeks. So I want to tell you that it's not just them not paying their stuff. This could be a possibility because I lived it, I know what it is. But it can also be Twitter fighting back. Right now I'm with Stake, and Stake has tried 7 times to get a badge for us, and Twitter has declined it 7 times.
Really?
Yeah, so like this badge thing is kind of hard to actually get. It's not as easy as people are thinking. And I've got other friends, right, that are now going and building their own organizations to then sell badges to other clippers. Yes, this exists as well. It's literally like a
Wow.
business at the moment. On Twitter, it's like a huge business. I don't have time to compete. I don't know if you noticed this. A lot of the people who clip are actually kids. They're between 12 to 18. And these guys put out like 10 to 12 to 14 tweets, like within like 3 hours.
Okay.
You gotta be watching a lot of streams, right, to be doing this.
Right. Well, look, I don't know the politics behind it, but you know, in terms of the actual like affiliate badges, I know that you have to pay. There's like 2 tiers, which is like one's $1,000 and the other one's like $5,000, and the $5,000 one allows you to have what's referred to as affiliates. But from what I'm seeing here, now Rothstein has been added to their affiliate list, but I still don't see Aiden Ross. I still don't see Nick Merckx. I still don't see XQC or Your Rage here, who before they lost the badge, they had the affiliateship, right? Moreover, what's interesting to me is, so what happened was when everybody lost their affiliate badges because they missed a payment or something happening on Twitter, they also lost their blue check marks, which I'm assuming is a free, like if you're an affiliate of a company that has the golden check mark, you will automatically get the blue check marks. Aiden Ross since then has another blue check mark. So does Your Rage. So does all these other streamers, like I say, XQC. They have a blue check mark, which would for me, it tells me that they paid for their check marks. Now, if their mindset is that they're going to receive another blue check mark when they receive their affiliateship from kick.com, why would they pay for another blue check mark ahead of the time? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So they're not affiliates and they paid for their check marks, meaning I don't think they're assuming that they're going to be back on the affiliate list. Well, XQC, his contract is ending, right? He's already a year in his contract.
I was gonna go there too as well. YRG, we don't know whether he's gonna. Do you know whether he's gonna sign again?
I don't know. I have no idea. A lot of the big streamers on Kick have like went back to Twitch type shit, right? Like Bruce Dropomoff, right? Like that was a big one. And there's, I don't see many of, like, let me see the Nelk Boys. Nelk Boys. When was the last time that they streamed? I don't even know. Like they're a long time ago, right? Like all the bigger streamers.
Some of these guys tested the waters though. Like I remember
That's true.
During the boxing time, right? There was Dean the Great, Astrid Wet. These are people from Misfits, right? All of them came and opened accounts to stream.
Oh, right, like, Slim. Yeah. He was streaming for a while, and he was looking for a Kick deal. I talked to him. He wanted a Kick deal. He wanted a stake deal, and they didn't give it to him. And I'm like, it seems they have their preferences, but they didn't get their deal, and they just moved along.
Why does Kick invest money in these big streamers when they could, like, instead of giving one streamer, I'm just giving an example, okay? Instead of giving him 1 million to one guy, what if I gave this to like 30 people? So
Eddie had addressed this in one of his live streams, probably a lot of his live streams, and he does want to do that, and that's where the KCIP program comes in, right? So he wants to, from my understanding, he wants to reward good content, right? And that's why, like, right now we're doing this event-based stuff that you see that I'm doing, where, like, we have a boxing or amateur boxing bout, or you have Ice Poseidon doing the Hunger Games, or you have whatever, right? You have so many different avenues of, like, I think also Xena the Witch is being like prompted to do some like event-based content, right? So he's making mini Ice Poseidons. Essentially that's what's happening. But I believe that in terms of like the like him like getting more and more people paid, that's KCIP. right? That's really his answer, his response to that. And rightfully so. I think providing a system that monetizes you, because we don't have ads on Kick, right? It solves that problem, right? It solves the problem of like, hey, I can get ads on Twitch. Why the fuck am I going to stream on Kick? Well, now you got KCIP, right? And I think it's essential to have the bigger personalities getting paid, not millions of dollars. Okay, like the $100 million contract. What the fuck? Who negotiated that? Why is it $100 million? These people are not worth $100 million, especially the ones that, you know, that have like a obviously botted chat, right? So I'm not going to claim the XQC bots, but shit's a little sus in there, right? Do I see a value in XQC? No, I don't. He's really, his content is not, it's not something that makes a lot of headlines. It's not something that makes a lot of bings and bams and the booms, right? Like you don't really get like your money's worth, $100 million worth of an XQC, right? That's a lot of money. You need to put out like you need to be out there fucking making a bunch of like ruckus, not sitting in your chair being XQC, you know, kind of like doing what Kai Cenat's doing, right? Like for 4th of July, you know, collaborating with like Mr. Beast and blowing up his fucking makeshift room. And that is what I would pay $100 million for, not a guy sitting in his chair playing video games. That's crazy to me. We're observing them do their things, and then we're trying to help shape the platform and mold it by posting things on Twitter and that kind of thing. Because again, Kick is very responsive to Twitter posts. So when we post something that's controversial, that's like, oh, wait a minute, that's kind of crazy, they usually respond to it, right? We've gotten, when I first reported on the Riot LOL situation, right? I was the prompt to get him banned, right? They didn't like fucking chickens put out the video, and the video was out for like 4 days before like anything happened, right? And then when I put out the video, or at least the highlights of the video on Twitter, within like 20-30 minutes he was banned. So that's what we've been doing in the background to help Kick kind of again go and you know, be better, I guess. I'd rather Kick not have pedophiles on this platform. You know, I think you would too.
Where do you sit with Monkey App and Omi TV on Kick?
I think it's dangerous because like it's good, just like a gun, right? Let's talk about a pistol real quick. A gun is good. I think pistols are great. You know why? Because you could defend yourself. You could defend the country, right? You could go out and defend whatever. If you put that pistol in the wrong hand, it's terrible. You could put it in the hand of a serial killer, they're going to kill everyone with it, right? Same thing goes with Monkey App and Omi. If you have a responsible person that's making good content with Monkey App and Omi, like for example, Goose Wayne, it's good. But then you have people that are rizzing up kids on Omi and Monkey App, and they're deliberately showing when people flash and all that to their audience. That's bad, right? So it's good and bad. It just depends on who's using it.
So what was your experience talking directly to Eddie? He's
a great guy. He's a genuine person. You know, again, like I said, I interact with him literally every day. So if something is like not making sense, I'll tell him about it. And he's receptive and responsive to the things that I say. Have we had like a back and forth about things? Yeah, I mean, we're not the same person, so we're gonna have disagreements. But you know, I see him genuinely trying to make a difference in the world. I don't say that about many people, right? Like that I've had time to talk to like that. But in terms of streaming, he really wants to take whatever he can to create a good space for content creators to do good things. And he doesn't care about like your clout size, right? He cares that you can go out there and make noise, show people we're around, you know, like being the disruptor, but in a good, positive way. right? He doesn't want like people to do things that are dangerous, obviously, but he wants people to do like positive, good content that is going to revolutionize streaming for Kick. That's where his mind is. And in terms of his heart, I mean, he cares, man. Like he's checked up on me about things. He's congratulated me on my newborn and stuff. Like he's a good person. I fuck with Eddie. He's trying to be a content creator on X. That's my, I guess, co-platform with Kick. So if you're trying to be a live streamer on X, there is a push to make X also like a bank. So like they're gonna have like where they do things with currencies and whatnot, and when they do that, a portion of the transaction fees and whatnot that they take from, you know, people transacting on X or with X, probably Visa card or whatever they're gonna have, those proceeds or that money is going to be filed down to the people on their creative incentive program. So you know how you can monetize on X? So now you're going to get paid because of the transaction fees, and that's Elon's way of saying fuck you to all the people that were like the ad, you know, the ad people. So like people who said fuck you to X because, you know, he let, say, like Nick Fuentes back on the platform. So I think Disney, there's a bunch of people that don't want to advertise on X anymore because of just how, you know, right-winged he is and how loud he is about certain topics. So his response to that and his solution to that is, you know, again, having that monetary system that will pay the creators on X. So it'll be like its own ecosystem without worrying about advertisers.
This is my opinion. I still think it's like people are talking about it. Like how YouTube's live streaming was supposed to be this amazing thing, and then now I feel like it's like plateaued. Other than Speed, I don't think I watch anyone who live streams on YouTube. You know, so but I will say this: I did see a few people playing Overwatch on it, so I mean it does actually have gamers.
Well,
so
YouTube is like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if you're gonna use YouTube, use it for YouTube Shorts.
What the fuck?
You know what I mean? I think that's where like you need to go is YouTube Shorts, because that's where YouTube wants to fucking like make a difference, right? Like they want to like just focus on that. And what was the indication of that to me was that like, so have you watched the Sidemen soccer thing that they did with Mr. Beast and all the creators?
yeah.
It was like the charity, right? So YouTube didn't like it didn't advertise YouTube, it advertised YouTube Shorts. So that is very telling. Like you know, they could have advertised just like the big play button and all that, but no, they specifically were advertising YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, but it's sad. I'll be honest with you, I hate YouTube Shorts. I hate TikTok too. Like it's literally just fried everyone's brains.
But that's why, like, they don't give a shit about like making you smart. They give a shit about making you to a zombie that keeps you on the site. You know what I mean? It's you know, in business, you want people to be, you know, and I know it sounds sinister, but I mean, here's the real fucking scoop, guys. All right, this is what I talk about all the time. In business, like they want you to be like a drone that's stupid, fucking like salivating at the fucking mouth, eating your chips in your mom's basement while you're consuming their content and spending money on their platform. They can give a fuck about you being smart. They don't care. They don't care about like, you know, humanity being better. They just care them being the power, the corporate giant, and they control the narrative. So what happens is, I don't know, maybe one day they're like, oh man, like there's this really cool concept that maybe they want to start accepting fucking pedophilia, which is, I'm just saying there's a lot of that kind of stuff going around these days. So say YouTube likes pedophilia, not saying they do. What they could do is they could start fucking putting out ads and shit that are like slowly indoctrinating the public that are fucking foaming at the mouth type shit to make them, again, do the shit that they want them to do, to push the narrative that they want. So you know, again, it's a way of being powerful. And again, like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, all this short form content destroys your fucking attention span because your brain is now being rewired to look for a little clip, little clip, little clip, little clip. So that's just what it is, right? It's where the industry is going for that purpose. They don't care about you, you know. And the thing is also, if you go out and learn shit and you're like your attention span and your memory is like longer now, that increases the likelihood of you being defiant as well and questioning them. So, you know, they don't want that. They want you to be stupid and wanting the short clip. Just business. Nah, dude. So just before we go on to the next topic, look, man, I think what you're doing is good work. The you know, again, clipping all the stuff that's going on. It helps Kick a lot, and it helps, you know, again, the people on this platform. So the more that you do that, it's, you know, it's a way of like just putting focus on good content, right? And content that could be controversial, and also the engaging content. So, you know, we need more of that out here for real. I'm old school CX, by the way.
This
was.
let me get that. You were in Purple Army. I've seen people like sending me things.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what's up with you and CX? And why do a lot of people within Ice Poseidon's community, well, Big, you in for some good stuff right now. Why a lot of people in Ice Poseidon's community don't like you? And you may say to me, you know, Clips, you're talking bullshit. I've had multiple videos that I put out with you in it that literally got 100 dislikes, 12 likes and 100 dislikes. I'm being honest with you.
That's good though.
Because I had in the title, Joker says X, Y, and Z.
That's good. So like the dislikes are good at it too. Like it's all by design, bro. It's all by design.
No, I told him it's good for algorithm. It doesn't matter.
So like, look, again, I'm XCX. I'm old school CX. I've done content with Alchi Boone, Ace Maximilian, which Ace is actually going to come to my event coming on the 7th, or like, well, around the 7th. I don't know if he's going to be at the boxing event, but you know, for my series of stuff, he's going to be around. I have correspondence with Ice Poseidon. I have Ice Poseidon's phone number. You know, I've spoken to him about a couple of things. I spoke to him back on D Live. I spoke to him here on Kick. So yeah, I've been around CX, and they don't like me, and it's fine. I'm okay with that because I wanted to be the loudest person in the room. So what I did was I targeted, you know, a lot of the people that were like the bigger CX personalities, right? You know, I spoke about them in whatever fashion, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. I spoke about them. I've had Mondo, who's Salmon Andy, on my stream before. I've spoken to Moises. I don't know if he's actually like CX. I've spoken to Burger Planet. But I started to see the CX degeneracy go out into the public and be kind of harmful at times. So when I started seeing that, I was like, oh shit, this is a problem. Okay. So I started talking about how we shouldn't be doing some of the stuff that they find entertaining. And they didn't like that too much. I even at one point targeted Paul, Ice Poseidon himself. And he called me out and we went back and forth. And then eventually that led to actual conversation between Paul and I. I don't hate Paul. I think he's, you know, at this point, he's doing better for himself. I think he's, you know, he has much more to learn about things, which we all do. But, you know, that's why they don't like me, is because I challenged their authority and a lot of their authority figures. So I'm cool with that. As long as I get to be a voice in the conversation, I could give a fuck how they think. You know? But I do fuck with CX. CX is that's like, I remember I was watching, and this is like, I find a lot of the content entertaining when you know, at the end of the first prison experiment with Alchi Boone, like I found that highly entertaining. And I think stuff like that should continue. Like challenges like that are pretty cool. So
I mean, some people saw you in the infamous Twitter space. This Twitter space was like literally all of these smaller kick creators saying that Ice Poseidon should not be on the platform.
yeah, that's when he was doing the degeneracy things that I was not okay with, right? I forget what that controversy was. That controversial topic was with him and Sam Pepper, and
Yeah,
there was
Robot
the
Andy.
issue with they were in like a hotel, and there was like a prostitute involved.
Yeah.
It was just the content to me was just like, it was bad optics, right? They called me Optics Andy after that, but like it was just bad optics, and I'm like, bro, like we shouldn't like have this kind of stuff on Kick, because at the time, like Kick was just like starting to like evolve into other things, right? Like it wasn't, we had kind of like our culture of who we were and how we were like being like the, you know, the answer to the Twitch tyranny, and then it started like warping into like degeneracy, right? So I was like, fuck, man, like the optics around this is bad. Like this is just a bad like look for us. And they're like, oh, well, it was scripted. And I'm like, no, it's fine that it was scripted. I get it, but a lot of the population don't see it like that, right? And a lot of the news media are going to be like, oh, look what Kick's allowing, prostitution and all this on the fucking platform. Even if you know it's scripted, many people don't. They just see a clip, right?
Wait, pause.
So that's that.
Pause. I gotta pause you there because that behavior, you may think it's over. It ain't. Have you seen how many streamers are driving to Figgy to pick up prostitutes? Jack Doherty did it. Citrus did it. Swear to God did it. How come no one's talking about that? Where's the Twitter spaces for people? Jack Doherty has done it on 3 different occasions.
So let me tell you. So I have also a target on my back from SSB. I got kicked out of the Twitter space, not Twitter space, the Twitter group of the Aiden Loyals. So I've been banned from Aiden Loyals. Even though Citrus still talks about me, and he still talks to me. Convy still talks about me, and he still talks to me. About, again, like if there's some like controversy, like we kind of go back and forth of what it means, right? So I was calling them out as well. Sweater God has me blocked on Twitter. Crazy, right? And Sweater God is the worst of them all. I dislike him a lot. And you're gonna see a little skit, something that we have planned to throw shade at Sweater God on the 7th. So be on the lookout for that. But I do talk about that all the time, right? And because of that, I have direct line of communication now to what I would refer to as the commanders of SSB and the Aiden Loyals, because whenever some shit goes down, I'm going to, like, you know, hey, what is this shit? You know, what are you doing here? Because I want their take on it before I have any kind of, like, you know, tweet about it going forward. The same goes with Jack Doherty. I currently have DMs with Jack Doherty as well. Any kind of like police kind of like report stuff, I kind of track it down. Currently I'm looking at getting some body cam footage for Jack Doherty. So I do call them out quite often.
I just wish that the same pressure we saw on Ice was put on these guys. And I'm not saying what's right and wrong. I'm just saying if it's done to one side, it should be done on the other side equally. I'm just saying this.
So Ice Poseidon, in the beginning, he was one of the first, right? So, like, kind of think of it as like a shock to everyone on Kick, right? So we weren't used to having like that kind of content until Ice Poseidon and Sam Pepper came along together, right? We weren't used to, like, oh shit, there's this scripted fucking like prostitute thing going down. So in the beginning, yeah, it happened. We did the same thing to Aiden Ross, by the way. There was a Twitter space also put out.
Yeah, I remember
where
because he said something about a hanging or something. He said something crazy.
yeah. So he said that like if people don't like him or what, yeah, they should hang themselves or some shit. We did the same thing with Aiden Ross, and Aiden Ross came in and talked to us too. As a matter of fact, Aiden Ross follows me on Twitter because of that. So that was kind of like the, hey, we're trying to like save our culture from any degeneracy, and turns out we got overrun, right? Because obviously those communities are way bigger than what we had at the time. Now it's kind of an understood thing that degeneracy lives on Kick, right? Like we understand that this is where like you're gonna find that kind of content. And as a matter of fact, majority of the people on Kick are now they outnumbered us, right? Like the initial kind of like, you know, bunch, we're outnumbered. So like now it's kind of like that's the preferred content on Kick rather than, hey, there's two, right? So we kind of like we're absorbed into that. Even though we're still holding people accountable, which I am still on Twitter, it's not as impactful because of just what is preferred and what is expected now, right? Kick has become this rather than what it was.
So how do we move on from this then? Do we kick out every single person who does degen content? Do we apply more stricter rules on the content?
Well, I think following Elon Musk's model is probably the best. So Elon Musk said that it's allowed on his platform as long as it's legal. Okay, as long as it's legal. As long as it doesn't, you're not out in public, you know, racing cars and jeopardizing people's lives type shit like Neon was doing with that one racer, right? You're not shooting paintballs into cars, or into traffic like Sweater God was doing. That kind of stuff, I think, should be, you know, the illegal stuff should be banned, right? Pedophilia, obviously, right? Get the fucking pedophiles out. But if someone is just like, I don't know, sharing an opinion, going out in public and being like annoying, that's fine, right? Like it's legal, you know, it's within their rights to do that. Now, how should we kind of like create a counterbalance to the degeneracy? Well, that's what I'm doing. So often wholesome content isn't really preferred because it's kind of like, meh, what the fuck am I looking at? I want to watch people be degens because it's funny. I want to see Vitaly catch predators while she's shaving their heads and making them sumo wrestle. Okay. Which is productive because it's teaching the pedophiles a lesson, but there's kind of like a really like gray line that's being pushed, which is it legal to put your hands on these guys, right? Now, if they sign waivers, now you can put your hands on them, right? Which I think that's where his bypass was. Anyway, I digress on Vitaly, but I think that creating a counterbalance to degeneracy and creating more like, again, like hero content, anti-hero content is where my solution space is, right? Also, Eddie is doing the same thing, creating event-based things, right? Pushing Ice Poseidon to do the Hunger Games. I think that was a great segment into something different that's not degen, but it still applies like all the fun shit Ice likes to do. Doing my amateur boxing and establishing the amateur boxing scene, right? Because we have the pro boxing scene, right? With Misfits and Jake Paul and, right, Most Valuable Promotions, but we don't have the amateur boxing scene. So establishing that with me, or the IRL superhero stuff, which is a real thing, by the way. We're not going to be out there in capes, but we're going to be out there in gear, supporting our local communities and doing these cool little missions that you'll see soon. That's the kind of shit right? That's going to counterbalance the degeneracy, where hopefully when you guys see that kind of content, you're like, huh, okay, there's this other thing I can consider now instead of just degen shit. Because right now you're just kind of like programmed to want like the bad stuff, which shouldn't be the case. Dude, the Hunger Games was just the wreck, bro. It was the wreck. I wish it wasn't I wish it wasn't bad, to be honest, because like when I talked to Ice, he had like, you know, perfect world ideologies on like, oh yeah, the vests are gonna work perfect, there's not gonna be issues with the cell phone footage, there's gonna be drone footage and all this shit. And I'm like, well, that sounds great, but you're operating in 100+ degree weather. How are you gonna keep all the phones cool? Well, there's a little fan, and it's just like a lot of this is gonna get scuffed, and I knew that for a fact. And it was a lot of very underwhelming kind of things going on in the Hunger Games. But his intentions were content, right? With like the helicopter footage, which was like nobody really cared. Like it just didn't hit, right? Now what did hit was the fucking prison experiment. That fucking hit. Okay, the prison experiment, I would watch that all day, every day. Watching fucking Mondo and Crazy Ton and SJC and have them fucking fighting over like food and shit. Like that's funny shit. I love the prison experiment.
To me,
the fear factor.
I think it was still tame. Did you watch the first one that he did years ago?
Of course.
That one was
Yeah.
That one was more crazy, dude. That one was more crazy.
Well, because it was the first time he did it. You know, but I think, you know, watching another one is like, all right, what else can he come up with? But I think event-based stuff is cool. What Eddie did tell me, and just so you're aware, he doesn't care about like, well, he does care, but he cares about the existing streamer community, but he knows that there's an untapped market outside in streaming, right? People don't really know what streaming is, and he wants to target those people. So he has to create like more of like a television, because that's how you reach people like that, is through TV and apps and stuff.
I mean, it makes
so he
sense.
has to create something.
If I tie with what you're just saying now, with the front page program thing, it's the same thing, because they said they want to make it where it's like the Netflix of streaming, where like people prepare what they're gonna stream and they know it like ahead of time. So it kind of ties in what you actually said. You said you no longer in the Purple Army Discord? Are you not really? So how come?
So I am, but I'm not, right? So like before I was like engaging with the community, but now I took like a step back because I'm trying to like, there's going to be things that I'm going to say that will combat their you know, their commanders, generals, whatever you want to call them, right? So like for an example, is if Ice Poseidon does something that is like off the wall and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up, I'm gonna call it out on Twitter. That's what I do. I'm a reporting channel. I'm gonna report on it. When I do that, what's gonna happen is they're going to, if I embed myself in the community, then it gives them the opportunity to like tear me apart, right? Because, oh, now I'm in the community, they're gonna try to infiltrate my shit, whatever. And I've learned that from past experience by letting people into my inner circle. So I just kind of like, I coexist. Like I'm like, all right, you guys are there, we know each other, but I'm here, you're there, type shit.
I think I went about it the wrong way compared to you. For me, it's the opposite. Everything you just said, for me, it's the opposite.
Why is that?
Like, I know the streamers that I put in the videos. You understand me? Like, when I say I know them, I watch them, I talk to them like on a daily basis. And then those are the same people I put in the videos. So then if I like do something wrong or something like this, it could trigger the audiences and the streamer involved. Actually, just touching on it, I'm gonna transition right now on SJC. SJC is one of those people. A lot of like guys were coming to my Discord.
You talk to SJC?
A lot, a lot. A lot of people are coming to my Discord and they were like, "Hey, kick clips." And I'll be honest with you, when I chose the name, I fucked up because there were multiple people using that same name, so it made it
Yeah,
it muddies the
it's hard.
water, right?
It's hard to like, yeah, it's hard to get recognized when you have like the name of like everyone
Not only
else.
this, not only
It
this.
was hard. It was hard for me to even like find you, dude. Like
Exactly.
I remember I was
Exactly.
telling somebody, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be on Kick
Yeah.
Clips tomorrow. Which one? I'm like, oh fuck. Okay, with the one with the Z. Because there's like the
Yeah.
Kick Clips with like 5 S's, and then there's like you, and then there's probably 3 others.
Yeah. So let me get back to my point. So people in my Discord were saying, "Hey, you know what? SJC is coming after you, and SJC is gonna wreck you, and he's gonna DMC your ass," and sending me screenshots, right? And then I go to
Mhm.
SJC and I say, "Dude, I haven't put you in a video. I haven't even spoken to you in months. What's going on here?" And then he sends me the Twitter account. You know, there's a very big Twitter account called Kick Clips with the S. He's like the biggest one. I'm
Yeah.
sure you know it. He's the biggest one. And
Yep.
he shows me a tweet with the Stake logo on it. And he says, "This guy stole my content and he put the Stake logo on my clip. And I don't support Stake. And why are these guys stealing my clips?" In this community, I want to say this, and some of you guys are fans of those streamers, you get angry. This is how it works. Aiden, Neon, XQC, these bigger streamers, they don't care who clips them, where they clip them, because they just love themselves being in the algorithm to fly.
Exactly.
Whereas
Yeah.
the smaller streamers get angry and want to kill you if you put one of their clips up. They don't want anyone to see them unless they are on their channel, which is terrible marketing. And that's why they never grow. I'm just being honest with you guys.
So for even better you know, kind of like reference to that, Vitali had a $200,000 budget and he was paying people to fucking clip his like predator hunting.
Yeah.
So like that's where we're at, right? And that's why I don't give a shit. Like if you guys want to clip my stuff, you know, obviously don't be out of context and try to like, you know, say some weird shit about the stuff that I'm doing. But like if it's in context and it's like, you know, something that happened. For an example, when that guy fucking threw the TV at me, that got clipped. I'm cool with that. Fucking post it everywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, it wasn't fun being fucking thrown or having a TV thrown at me by a fucking 340-pound ex-football player from the Eagles. I mean, it was terrifying, but sure, if you want to clip it.
Everyone is talking about the face paint, the green screen. Can you explain what are you doing?
It's my brand. It's what I do. I'm the Joker, man. You want me to sit here and fucking be in like normal fucking like no, dude.
No,
this
hell
is
no.
me.
I'm happy that you came like this, but I think they want to know technically how you do things. That's what they were. Earlier, I saw somebody asking, like, is it sprayed on or is it like
It's a filter, bro.
use a filter?
Yeah. It's a filter.
Like you guys have your answers.
I used to
because I've seen that.
so I used to put like the actual makeup on at one point, and it took me an hour to put that shit on, and it took me about like 30 minutes to take it off like completely, and then my face would have remnants of makeup and it was fucking my skin up, and I'm like, dude, I can't keep doing this. Like it's really fucky. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna do a snap filter, and that's that.
But it's so good that it follows you like that. Like even your movements, you know? Like there's not like lag or any shit like this. So it's good.
Right. Yeah.
Right, let's go to talk. Well, you did not take part in the Hunger Games. Why is that?
Mm-hmm. So my newborn, and I told Ice Poseidon this before I even accepted, that I was having a newborn, and my wife, she's a little older of a woman, so she, you know, we were having complications, and I told him, I said, look, if my son is born with complications, then I'm not going to be able to make it because I need to be here for my family. And he said, okay, it's fine. I said, all right. Well, when my son was born, he wasn't breathing right. So we ended up putting him in the NICU. He was in a NICU for about 4 days or whatnot. And then after that, you know, he has some form of complications that my wife and I are going through, right? To make sure he's fine and whatnot. So I told him, I said, dude, I can't leave her alone for fucking 10 days because ICE wanted me to be there for like at least 10 days. And I can't. I told him I can't do that. Right. So he understood. He said, I'm not going to go. Cool. And then, you know, when it happened, it happened. So, I mean, it's pretty normal, I think, the reason why I'm not going, or I didn't go.
No, but see what you said now, I know I didn't know it. I just knew that you were gonna have a baby. But it's good like you clear that, you know, like because a lot of people talk shit on this as well. These are things you should know.
No, I
A lot of
know.
people say-
I know.
a lot of people are like, oh, he's scared to go take part in the event. That's why he didn't go. You know this, right? This is why I asked the question.
It has nothing to do about fear. Because again, like as I told everyone, I'm like, dude, I train. I'm ex-military. I'm very, very good at taking people out with. I could do with paintball guns, or you know, if you put me back in the army, I can clear rooms and shit. Type, you know. So I'm not afraid. I would have fought. Absolutely would have fought. The way that people were like charging the fucking hunters, there would have been fights. But yeah, I mean, I said this before, my newborn didn't do so well, so I stayed home.
But you're gonna be going out and doing IRL streams, right? So I want to ask you,
Yeah.
what brought about this change? Because like you were doing your news before, right? Now you're gonna do IRL.
Yeah. So the IRL streams, I'm not going to be out overnight. I'm not going to be out like, you know, 24/7. It's going to be like, just like you've seen before when I was out and, you know, in the festival, it was like 5 hours, right? I can come home and I can, you know, be here for my wife and my children. So that's not an issue. And also he's doing better. So it's not like he's still like messed up. He's actually doing way better.
So Action Man is a big, big, big drama moment. So can you explain why Action Man wanted to nuke you? Like he wanted you off the internet, pretty much.
Look, you know, I had made a mistake by attacking Action Man, and I owned up to it. You know, I apologized. I said, look, I didn't want to go ahead and go back and forth with this guy. You know, he's doing his content. He's trying to change as well as Ice Poseidon is. He wants to do more positive stuff. So I'm, you know, again, like I encourage that kind of stuff. I'm not here in the business of trying to tear people down. So look, I made a mistake. I apologized, and that was it. I own up to it.
Well, how about all the things in the videos, though? Like, you remember at one point you said you had multiple people that were DMing you with stories. Do you still believe those stories of all those girls that were DMing you? Or it's like you now think all of it's a lie and now you're on Action Man's side?
It's not my business. I left it alone. You know, I had things. I got rid of it. I didn't want any part of it. Again, when I apologize to someone like that, and I'm like, look, you know, I'm finished. We're not going to even go that route. I much rather you do better. Whatever those allegations were is not my story to tell anymore.
How did you feel like when you first made the stream, right? Did the entire Discord like come after you? I gotta ask, did they all come after you? Because that chat is lethal.
Which one? Which Discord?
Action Man's Discord and his chat.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Everyone was everyone was buzzing all over me. Yeah, it was an experience, man. You know,
because you need to understand. Okay, yes, you'll say his chat is also CX related craze. You may say this, but like you are like maybe the fourth or fifth person down the line. You need to understand that we're saying things, but this community and Action Man wants people to show receipts. You get me? You just, at that point in time, you were just another name in that list. Remember this. Before
Okay.
you was like, here Mike, Zerka, Even there was even some cases of those girls at Jack Doherty's house as well, making their own claims. And all these people
Yep.
were making claims. I'm trying to explain this to you. All these people were making claims without receipts. So at that point, Action Man was already revved up. You understand? If anyone else adds to it, he's gonna be guns blazing because he's got so many people saying things
Yeah.
around his name without giving receipts.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's, I understand where he's coming from, and look, there's, it's hard to even like tell people who aren't part of that world what that experience is like, right? So I'm also a person that like, I get a lot of people saying, lies about me without receipts. And it could get frustrating. It's like, all right, man, like, how many people already? There's like 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, whatever. Doesn't matter. But at one point or another, if you're not prepared for it, it'll eat at you, right? So what do? You just kind of like, I understand where Action Man kind of is coming from. So look, that's why I said I'm just not going to be a part of the problem. I much rather be part of the solution. I don't want to break him down. He has a big platform. Let him do good. And even after that, he said he wanted to do more positive stuff. So I think that's, again, I'm not part of the degen world like that, right? I much rather see him go out and make cool shit rather than be destructive. Because he does have a following. He does have people that love what he does, and to me that's valuable. Encourage good behavior, don't break him down. That's how I see it. And I hope he does good stuff with his platform. I mean, that's really it. I apologized. I manned up to being, to being the one that was wrong, and that's it. Easy.
And now, have you changed moving forward with other creators?
With other creators, so I definitely tailored my approach to be a little different, right? So I don't want, like I said before, I don't want to be destructive to people. I'd much rather build people up. Now, if the person is like admitting to being a predator and like admitting that they like did bad things to people, then my gloves are off. I don't want you to be anywhere near the internet type shit. But if like there's like some speculation on stuff, I want to give people more of like a progressive platform to just talk about it, right? So an example of this is just recently, Vasish. I don't know if you've heard of this person before.
I've clipped his clips. He's been in this chat. Yeah,
Vashish,
we both noticed the same thing, by the way.
Yeah. So Vashish and I forgot the other guy's name. Starts with a P.
Cam K.
Yeah.
I just know the list of monkey app streamers that all do the same thing. So like
no. So philosophies.
Oh, I don't know this guy. So continue.
Okay. So recently, philosophies went live to expose Vashish. And he had 2 females come up on the panel to make claims about like sexual assault, okay, against Vashish. Okay. And what ended up occurring was they were up on that panel smoking and laughing and smiling and that kind of thing. So at first that was like a red flag to me. I'm like, okay, what is this? Why is this going on? Right? Like, why are they not distressed? Right? If you're claiming sexual assault, you're going to be more like a victim, right? Victims are like very like, I get coping is different for everyone, but you're not going to be laughing, right? That's not the emotion that you would like foresee, right? Well, these females started making some allegations of him being very aggressive while they were in his house, being very like motivated to have sex with them all the time. Turns out that those ladies were provoking such things, right? They were provoking such things to happen. They were saying, oh, we're gonna fuck a lot, you know, and then when they were there, like, you know, there's video of them hanging on on Vashish's like arm, kissing up on him. Even after, there's DMs of them saying thank you so much for a great time. That's not what a victim would say, right? They'd be like, I'm just cutting ties, I'm gone, right? That's usually what happens. And then they would say like, oh, my jaw hurts from, you know, sucking his dick, whatever. Long story short, those two, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is they were going at it, and I said, you know what? Let me give them a platform to have a debate. Let me give them a platform to even box, right? Because I'm doing the influencer boxing thing, the amateur one. And there, in October, there's going to be a bout where influencers from Kick will, and I have several now, including Florida Boy MMA, who want to fight on my card. Long story short, I want to provide people that are victims or not, or maybe even the predators, a platform to talk about what they did, right? Because maybe there is a side of the story that we're not considering, but there should be. And then allow the audience to be the ones to determine what happened. Why are they doing this? Or if they are guilty or not, right? Instead of me being the one being like, you, I think that doesn't make sense because I'm one perspective, right? I could say the person's wrong all day, but maybe I'm not considering something, right? And that's where my error was with, you know, many others in the past. So if I were to provide the audience the opportunity to kind of like figure it out, and if say the person is guilty, then the audience will provide them the dog piling and all that, right? I could just, you know, hey, you weren't right in what you said, right? So that's my thought process on how to kind of continue forward after the whole shebang.
Who do you think are good creators? Like if you can name one or maybe two or three.
Good creators on Kick. To be honest with you, I think a lot of people are good on Kick. I think you're good on Kick. You know, I don't really see creators that are bad. They're just different. Even boring content is good content. You know why? Because it's contributing.
Like I'll give you my example, right? I like watching Aiden. I like watching Ice. I sometimes watch like gaming streams, but like I actually have a few that I actually watch. I'm trying to say this to you. So
I actually watch Ice Poseidon. I actually watch Chavez Flexington. He's a good friend. Drumming stream, great content. I mean, really, those are Aiden. Yeah. I do watch Citrus at times. I do watch. Well, the thing is, I watch people for like the clips so I can like talk about it in my segment. So it's like it's hard. It kind of like is blending, right? Like that's so like I'll watch Vitali. Some of the shit's like meh, you know, especially the scripted stuff. At least I think it's scripted. Do I think it's funny sometimes? Do I think he's great? Meh. Like, you know, like it's kind of hard. It's all blurring for me. I consume so much content because I'm looking to clip stuff. I have a troll who's a stalker. I really think if he could, he would literally gobble my cock. This guy would fucking deep throat the living fuck out of my dick. That's how obsessed this guy is. Every single thing this guy posts, he doesn't have a bit of unique content. It's about me. So just take this guy with a grain of salt.
But did you really do a coin? Like a CX coin?
No, I didn't do a coin. I was trying to do a coin. I wanted to do a villain token. I never did it. It's just would you have stayed with it? Or would you have like how everyone else, you know, like they do a coin for 1 week and then the coin is no longer a coin, you know? No, I would have stayed with it. So I wanted to do like a government, like a internet government token, if that makes sense. And I was going to own zero of the supply. I wasn't going to own any of the supply. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to make it where people can vote on certain things that happen on the internet, and they can use that token to vote for stuff. So that's why I wanted to make it. But you know, and I was gonna make it completely decentralized, no fucking admin keys, none of that shit. Really on the fundamentals of like what crypto should be, I think. But again, I never I never even pushed the trigger on that. I was gonna do what's called the sacrifice phase, and people in the crypto community are like, oh, you know, he took $20,000. Never did that because there's no address I even put out for that. So I didn't take any money for the token because I never even had it developed yet. You know what I mean? So there's no development. Huh?
You just talked about it. That's what you're saying. You didn't actually go ahead.
Yeah, I just talked about the. Yeah, it was a concept, right? But this troll that you see in your chat here, he's trying to spin it as though it was developed when it wasn't. So again, as you can see, he's obsessed with trying to slander my name, and that's what I mean by like making clips to like put things out of context to fuck somebody over. That's like the kind of like boundary I have.
So what do you think about Kick's platform at the moment, like the moderation team and like what's happening at the moment?
Man, they got work to do, man. But they it's hard to say, man. So like a little while ago, they kind of changed the TOS guidelines a little bit. So I think they need help, a lot of help, because like their moderation team, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's like multiple. There's ones in Serbia, there's one in like the Middle East, and back when Dan Dangler was on the site, I don't know if you remember this, but like she had an issue where at certain times the moderation was one way, and another time the moderation was another way. And the reason why is because the culture was different. And then like, you know, one would tolerate a certain level of content opposed to another level of content. It's very fucky, man. It's hard. I think moderation is difficult on all sites because there's a fine line between freedom of speech and not freedom of speech, right? Where it's dangerous, where like, you know, you're deploying your violent behavior or whatever. So like, what is tolerable and what is not, right? Like that's the question. There's websites out there like Rumble that allows you to drop N-bombs and shit. And is that like the preferred? Like it's such a gray line. So it's hard. It's really a difficult kind of thing to balance. But I know they're trying to. They're trying their best. They have a whole moderation team. So
I mean, I feel like the 404s have gotten faster.
Oh, big time. Yeah. It's like as soon as like something goes down where somebody like says again like the N-bomb or some stuff, immediately, or maybe like somebody like uses a monkey app and somebody flashes tits, that like people are just getting like taken offline for like 2-3 days, but it never sticks. Like it's not like a permaban. The only thing that I've really seen like that gets people permabanned is the is like CP type shit, you know, like, which is good, like fuck pedophiles, seriously. But like that kind of stuff is what people get like is why people get like permad, which I think is a good reason to permaban someone.
Do you think somebody should be allowed to come back from a permaban?
Depends on what it was that got him permabanned. Like, I think, is Zerka still permad?
Yeah, he's gone for good.
Yeah. So like stuff like that where he was like advocating for pedophilia or like playing around pedophilia, I think they should stay permabanned. But other than that, I mean, people can learn from their mistakes. What is considered hate speech is very subjective to the person. So like, you know, somebody can consider a thumbs up hateful, depending on the country you live in. So I don't know, like if you can coach it out of them, unban them, but have that coaching experience. If not, and they're just continuously being repeat offenders of whatever it is that you don't want on your site, then keep them banned. But that is not, again, that's all very subjective to the moderation team, right? Like I mentioned earlier, you have, you know, 2 separate moderation teams, one from the Middle East, one from Serbia, which have vastly different cultures and understandings of what is acceptable or tolerated or not. So what you know what I mean? It's a very gray line.
So if tomorrow Kick asked you to help them with like moderation or to give them insights, would you do it?
Asked me to give them. I'm sorry. What was your question?
Like you give them feedback or like you I want to say like advise these people, because you watch a lot of Kick, right? So you pretty much see what's like on the line of what should be allowed and not allowed. So what if like Eddie said, "Oh, I'm gonna create a group of like these kind of streamers that would give insight on the moderation."
I mean, would I participate? Is your question?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that, because now you're becoming an influence into what you believe is acceptable and what you believe is not, right? Everything is based upon interpretation, but if you are being an influence to the person who is interpreting what is, good and what's not, then you essentially can shape the future of the platform. And I believe I do have a great understanding of what should be tolerated, and what shouldn't be. Like I said before, in terms of like how I believe the moderation should be run, should be legal or not, right? Freedom of speech should remain freedom of speech. There are some things that, again, could be like in the gray zone of that, such as if someone's deliberately harassing another person or creating a narrative to defame them, stuff like that has a bit of like a legal kind of like gray zone, so to speak, because that essentially could lead to lawsuits and stuff, right? People getting sued for defamation of character. And if you're allowing it to be published on the site, then Kick could be held legally, on that and be roped into lawsuits. So if there's proof of that kind of stuff, then I think Kick should, again, consider that. So this way they don't get roped into lawsuits that they don't belong in. But aside from that, again, like I think I have a good understanding of what, could be deemed as necessary on the platform and not, right? And I'm not saying I'm the all-knowing, by the way. I'm not saying I know every fucking thing and I'm the end all be all, but like my guidance in that could prove useful. Yes. And from what I know, just so you have information on this, there's like meetings in the staff team that speak to like, moderation and people who are a problem or a possible problem. So like they do like speak about us. But again, that's all internal, right? Like to try to like bridge the gap, because I'm sure they're aware that, staff can't be everywhere at all times, right? You have how many channels live at once, like 2,500 or whatever it is. So they have to like group us in like sections of like, these are your good streamers that don't usually have issues, and these are your kind of like medium where they sometimes they say stupid shit, and I'm sure they have us grouped in sections.
I mean, like, why is Fusi allowed to watch full movies and I can't?
See, that right there is what I was combating a little while ago. Oh man, they're the preferred, man. Certain streamers have certain privileges until they don't. That's the politics, brother. That's the $1 million question.
Yeah, I mean, and also, like, I want us to be able to multi-stream while on KCIP. Like that thing, I don't understand. I don't get it.
Multi-stream? What do you mean?
Like to be able to stream, like I want to live stream on my YouTube channel and my Kick at the same time.
I think you can you not?
Cannot. I don't even know this. On KCIP, if you multi-stream on YouTube Shorts, it's okay. But if you do Twitch or YouTube or TikTok, you lose your KCIP. There's a guy called Chris Travels. He lost his KCIP for 1 month for streaming Kick and YouTube at the same time. You can't. It's in the rules.
I thought they said TikTok was good.
I haven't heard about that. Maybe I need to check that. But my main thing
Yeah,
is
I heard.
want to live stream
I heard
on
TikTok
YouTube.
and YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, see, YouTube, I don't really care. I mean, I don't care about YouTube Shorts. I want to do a normal live stream on YouTube, and I want to stream this at the same time. You get me? And that's not allowed. Or like some people want to stream games to both Twitch and Kick at the same time. You can't.
See, that's I think where they're kind of fumbling, if I'm honest, because like you should be able to fucking live stream on like other platforms as long as you make your main platform Kick. You know what I mean? So like there should be a criteria of like, all right, you read your chats on other platforms, but every so often you're telling them, hey, look, you know, I'm gonna, you know, the platform is Kick, come to Kick. And then like you end stream on the other platforms and do exclusive content to Kick to drive traffic to this platform. That's how I see, like, I think they should operate that way.
I know that, maybe I think you can do that, like what you just said now. Maybe that's what I might try.
I know. Well, you can't do that right now because, like, obviously, like, there's, you know, those guidelines, and you're bound to Kick while you're on KCIP. But
I'm telling
they
you,
should have something.
Everyone in CX does it. I'm telling you that right now. Everyone in CX does it. They stream on Twitch, they stream on YouTube, and then they bring people here. Like Moises does it all the time.
But that's what they should be doing. That's what I'm saying. Like there should be an effort to, like, you know, if you're gonna have KCIP, to bring everybody here and then do exclusive content on Kick. I think that should be the push, or at least for everyone, not just some people.
What do you think about EBZ, a popular IRL streamer, like the greatest man to ever hold a camera at those angles?
Come on, man.
What do you think about this guy? Now he's getting
taking
$1 KCIP.
EBZ, man. So like, this guy is a firecracker, man. He blows up. He explodes a lot, and it's funny. I loved it when he punched Burger Planet. It was funny as hell. You know, although Burger was a bit of a bitch to call the cops. You know, sorry Burger, but it was a bitch move. But look, I think the way that he does things, it's bringing a lot of, like, you know, a lot of attention. I think him in the Hunger Games, I think he had a little bit of special treatment, just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, what, he gets $1 KCIP? Do you think is that true or no?
Yeah, like today, Gary David put out another screenshot from EBZ, and this is now, like, they helped him to fix his KCIP. Like, they contacted Kick staff, they resetted him, and like one stream he had like $12 an hour, and then the next day, wait, let me get to it. The very next day, it went back down to $1. It's back to $1 a stream. Like
sounds like someone doesn't like him.
He did 11 hours and he made $11.
How many people were on his stream? Was it like, what was the chat flying? Did it seem view botted? Because view botting, like, you know, Kick can see that easily.
I mean, his chat does move. He does get people in his chat. I don't know whether
because if you're view botting, this is what Eddie told me. If you're view botting, they're gonna know. Like, if you're KCIP, they're gonna know that you're view botting, especially if you're KCIP. So they're not gonna just pay you to have like fake numbers. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? So your KCIP will be impacted. So I'm not saying he's view botting, but that could be a byproduct.
They need to work on something, like if somebody's botting you out of spite, and then you get punished on KCIP.
Well, they'll be able to see. So like, it's not about like them lowering your amount because you're view botting. It's about them seeing the fake IP addresses, the proxy IP addresses that are, you know, again, that are being utilized to view bot your account. So they'll see all the real guys and they'll be like, all right, tally those numbers, not the ones that are the fake ones.
I get you. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk to you about your event. Tell us all about like what you're gonna be doing.
So, what the entire thing is, okay, it is for two things, right? One, I want to establish amateur boxing, okay, because YouTubers from the beginning wanted to just box, but not on a level where like you're Jake Paul fighting UFC fighters, right? That's not what it was intended to be. It was intended to be content creators who had either beefs or not going in the ring and just fighting. That's all it was, right? And nobody really like kind of zoned in on it being amateur, right? Because everybody who's a content creator is an amateur unless you're actually doing boxing and being a content creator. But it's very seldom you find those. So I wanted to bring that back to like the basics, right? Because it kind of got out of control. So on the 7th, we're going to kick off what is called Project Kick-Ass, which we are getting, the amateur boxing scene back in the spotlight. Kind of like a, again, Kick being the one to sponsor this and Stake to have us establish this, right? So this way, in October, we'll have people like Florida Boy MMA or anyone else that wants to box, another creator or just boxing in the boxing scene. They have the opportunity to do it on a stage that is Kick, right? And you'll see what that looks like on the 7th. So that's part of it, right? I have the ability through Kick and Stake to, when it's successful, to essentially provide a vehicle into the pros if somebody has enough fights, and then they can, become more clouded to fight, say, somebody that's the size of like a FaZe Temper or whatever, right? So it essentially is your ability to show what you got, go through the ranks how a normal boxer would in the influencer scene to get to the professionals and then fight on a Misfits card or whatever, right? Because what happens is like majority of the people that are boxing right now, they're coming with their own kind of like clout, but nobody knows them as fighters, right? So you don't really have a following that it's like following your fight card, which is like weird because like fighters generally through their amateur fights, they build a following, they build people who are fans of how they fight, and then it becomes more exciting when they get into like the pros, right? So that's kind of how I'm structuring this whole thing with RK Stacks. If you guys don't know who that is, his name is Ryan, really good guy.
He was in this chat
so that's what's
a long time ago. I've seen him here before. I know you're talking about. He's the guy in your stream, right? You were talking to him. The mansion and stuff. Yeah.
So that's happening too, right? So that's on the 7th that we're gonna have this really cool event. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to get quite a few creators to be there. There's gonna be an SSB guy there that's gonna be rapping. He roommated with Aiden Ross. I don't know if you guys ever heard of KOH.
SSB
he knows Rice Gum.
Is so deep. I can't. There's too many.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I can't get behind Aiden's events because I don't know any of those guys that are boxing there, so I don't really care too much. I'm being honest. I like watching Aiden. Well, I don't know who's boxing. Nine times out of 10.
So it's fine. But he's been featured on Aiden Ross's streams. He's I think was roommated with Aiden Ross for a little bit. He knows all the FaZe dudes. Like he's in. Ko's a really good guy. I spoke to him. Very nice-hearted person. He's coming and he's going to do an epic freestyle in the halftime of the event on the 7th. So you guys are in for a treat. So there's that. And then there's like other things that are going to occur. I'm trying to get Jake Future to come, which I'm 50-50 on his attendance at this point, but he should be coming because he's from like New Jersey area, so it wouldn't be that hard for him to come. I've had conversation with him. He seemed interested. And then of course the fights, and then after that, we're gonna go on a paranormal hunt, a ghost hunt. So on the 8th and the 9th, I have some paranormal YouTubers who are linked up with quite a bit of the paranormal world. So we want to go to Gettysburg, and we want to reach out and pay tribute to the fallen heroes at Gettysburg. And then maybe Eastern State Penitentiary, but we're trying to finalize on that now. And then the 10th, 11th, and 12th, we will be doing what I consider the IRL superhero push, right? So we're going to go out there. We're going to be in gear, okay? On the 10th, we're going to do like, things for the homeless. We're going to provide them resources, food, that kind of thing. Maybe get one a haircut, just some wholesome content, right? See, go into like where the homeless encampments are, provide aid. The 11th, we're going to provide what's called Operation Observe and Report. We'll be like in the very crowded areas of some city street. I'm not going to say where. That has like clubs and stuff. Obviously, observe anything that goes down. If someone's beating on a woman, we're going to, stop it, de-escalate, provided, any kind of like evidence to the law enforcement that comes, that kind of thing. And then the last day, which would be the 12th, will be us going and providing community outreach and awareness to people who are predators in the area. So we're going to print out a bunch of flyers of a person who is a predator and where they reside at. And we're going to provide those flyers to the general public and provide information to where the predators are. We might even visit those predators just to kind of let them know that we're doing that. And on the 13th, and then from the 13th on, not exactly sure how much longer after the 13th, we're going to, again, be in the mansion. Even before that, we'll be in the mansion too, where, we'll celebrate. We'll do some content out of the mansion. And that's going to kind of conclude the first segment. And then after that, we're going to package all that content up, show it to Eddie, show it to Kick, Steak, Glitch. And we want to propose another big event sometime, probably the beginning of next year, that I want to put together.
So it's like a variety
something that's
of things that you're doing. It's not one thing. It's like many different things. The boxing, is it sanctioned?
Yes, USA Boxing is sanctioning it. We're going to have medical staff and judges present.
And did you contact Wade? Because he's a free agent now, you know that, right? Because Misfits, like he had a lot of drama with Misfits.
So I spoke to Wade Plem twice, but not like super in depth. I tried to reach out to him after because he first came on Kick. He actually was streaming on Kick for a little while, so I talked to him then. But after that, he just kind of like disappeared. It's all gonna be here on Kick. So like, be on the lookout for that. It's supposed to be starting at 12:30. That's when like the doors will open, but like the bouts will start at 1. If we can again be the counterbalance and provide a different kind of flavor of content that's not so degen but more like helpful. And I'm not anticipating degen stuff won't happen. I'm sure there's going to be degen shit happening. Because again, like it's IRL stuff, right? IRL stuff has degen shit happening. I won't be directly contributing to the degen stuff, and I'll try my best to like stop it from happening. But if it does happen, it happens, right? Life is life. But in terms of like, involving CX, I mean, I want to be the counterbalance, man. I want there to be maybe a wholesome kind of like feel to CX and get people like, oh, okay, this is more positive. This could help communities, right? Like that's where I want shit to happen. And yeah, I do plan on doing IRL superhero content, not just for this event, but going forward, right? I want to go into my local community and do helpful things, and you'll see IRL shit go down, and I'll be in full gear. I have an AI that I programmed, by the way, that will be helping us in our endeavors. I do plan on having some certain like gadgets and stuff being created. And if Kick and Steak, not if, when Kick and Steak see this being a success, I want to create bigger things, more event-based things, but I do want to have like a central kind of command kind of stuff, where like it becomes recognized nationwide that there is a kind of like a superhero Stark's Industries kind of thing going on.
Yeah, camera angles. That's the main thing. No EBZ angles, please.
right, like all fucking right in my face type shit. No. It's gonna be like we actually have a cameraman coming with us, so
This and like mic and audio, because you saw Vitali's when he came back in season 2, that ruined that entire first stream. The audio. That
yeah, we had audio issues too. We're learning as well, so the audio issues will be corrected, and also the video if there's any video issues, right? So the last time we had a very wide angle lens. And everyone's calling me fat because of that. And my troll there, right? He's calling me fat for that. Trying to measure my chest cup size, which is
oh my God.
pretty weird, bro. Very sus, bro. No, I appreciate that, and thank you for all the work that you do, Kick Clips, and thank you for the opportunity to come up here and share this and clear things up with all the questions you had. Anytime, by the way, if you want to do a follow-up, I'll be up here again.